Well, the Harlem Father Day Parade was actually started in 2011. That was the first annual Harlem Father Day Parade. Then the second annual Father Day Parade was in 2012. That was the second annual. And this year we had the Harlem Father Day Peace Parade. Now I have to give you a little understanding why we call it the Father's Day Parade. In 2010, I told you a little bit about Harlem Transformation Project and how it's necessary for the young brothers that are mentored to do community service. Well, I met a sister by the name of Queen Mother Pitts. Never seen her before, never heard of her. And we went, sat down in a meeting of hers, and she was doing a Mother's Day parade that's been around, I think, for 26 years at that time. However, I never heard of it. So I sat down there and I listened and I started taking notes. I believe in, whatever you want to do, you put it down in the tablet. You put it on, just like Habakkuk says, have a vision, put it in the tablet and make it plain. So I took all the notes and whatnot. And so after the meeting, she said, well, you took all these notes. I said, yeah, I took all these notes, sister. So she said, well, wow, can you come back? So I wound up coming back, and I told her, I said, I'm gonna help you with this parade. And that's what we did. We helped her with that parade as a form of community service at that particular time. When we had a very, very nice parade. I invited the whole entire community to come to the parade. I get basically up to then, it was mainly herself and her friends and her sisterhood and various people that they knew, but I had invited the whole entire community to come because I liked the idea, the way it sounded. I felt that the Mother's Day parade is just as important as any parade. So the next year, I was having a Men of Color March. It was behind mass incarceration and a few other different things, and about fatherhood and men stepping up to the plate and doing what they should do into the community in terms of being protectors of the community. So I got to thinking, I said, well, maybe, what we'll do, we'll have a Father's Day parade. However, it's not like the Father's Day parade, the traditional Father's Day parade, because it's not about the child or the wife or something doing something for the daddy. It's about the men doing something for the community as a whole. So the Father's Day parade. Now this year, the focus is on peace. As you know, we do anti-gang violence work in Harlem, and anti-violence work, and we wanted the men to step up and make comments about the violence that's happening in the community, especially the one-time violence that's happening among ourselves. So when the third annual Father's Day parade was just July 27th, last week, we had a wonderful parade, and we marched, and we spoke on peace, we spoke on organization, we spoke on continuing the programs that we have, and we also spoke on participating in the school system more to deal with the education of our children. We asking men to go to school on the first day of school with his child or somebody else's child. If you can't go the first day, go the first week. And if you can't go that, go sometime during the course of the year. We asking them to dedicate maybe 20 hours a year to some young boys or young girls' life. If they need him for something, they need to talk to him, or they need him to come to school to go to a basketball game, or a girl need to have they're having a father-daughter concert. She doesn't have a father at home to call one of the men. We ask the men to step up to the plate and be available, but mainly to go to those schools because they need to see black men participating, men of color participating in their children's education. And so the Father's Day Parade is actually an organizational tool, and also a tool that we use to get information to men. We after the parade we always have a concert, and we have a part where we call a forum where we have other men come and speak to men about different issues in the community, whether it's fatherhood, whether it's education, whether it's history, or whether it's whatever that's on the agenda or whatever's hot on that agenda for that particular year in our community as a whole. So that's basically the history of the Father's Day Parade.
We also did the Play for Peace ceremony, which was over at the YMCA on 135th Street, right down the block. The Play for Peace ceremony was a way for children to be able to play and have a safe environment, and also for us to have a celebration based around that, letting them know, listen, you don't have to worry about shootouts all in the neighborhood. Every child, everywhere actually, deserves a safe haven, a safe place where they can play without having to worry about violence, without having to worry about somebody getting shot or stabbed or killed.
And we must take the responsibility to do that, so we asking all the men to step up to the plate to do that. One of the cornerstones of any village is not only the spiritual part or the educational part, but it's also the political part. This gentleman right here, Mr. Robert Jackson, has been a part of the political scene since I met him in 2001 or 9/11 when he was running for city council.
You know, about 70% of all domestic violence is north of 110th Street. North of 110th Street. And so obviously domestic violence, majority, over 95% of domestic violence is men against women. And that we must stop. And so let me introduce one of the co-founders, James Gray, that's going to take over the mic until Akil gets here. James Gray, give him a hand.
I just want to thank everybody for coming out today. The drummers, Akil, Congressman Jackson, all the supporters, all the groups. Definitely want to thank the Furtado brothers for showing love, coming all the way from Queens. Matter of fact, I need those brothers up here on the mic.
This was a great day so far, and we're just proud to be a part of it, to let you know that fathers are alive in the hoods everywhere. We got Queens out here representing, and not that we're geographical, we're all family. So we just thank you for having us, and our message is let's increase the peace, let's start respecting each other, and once we start respecting each other, we can't help but start loving each other. And now to stop a lot of the senseless killings that's going on in our streets and in our communities. So on behalf of the King of Kings Foundation, the Friends for Life, we thank you for having us. Akil, we thank you for inviting us. We wouldn't have missed it.
I've actually brought in my guy, Jimbo, who is at the forefront of the Guns Down, Life Up movement. And he's been very instrumental in marching with us and supplying T-shirts and a lot of information. And in turn, I joined forces with him to collaborate and to make this thing bigger, to give it a bigger voice. What happened was, Jimbo had a great idea of going into the hospitals and talking to the emergency room staff and doctors and getting them to come out and talk to the children about what they see every day. When they see gun victims come in, shoot and stabbing victims come in every day, and they patching them up and everything, when they're talking to the children about what they see every day when it comes to violence, these children are like, wow, you know, they start to realize that this is a real issue. And the Guns Down, Life Up movement is spreading like wildfire. Even 50 Cent, Swiss Beats, and a couple other major rappers are wearing the shirts. They're talking about it. You know, the summertime, every time it gets hot, there's all these shootouts and violence. So these are all things that we want to bring to the table and address. You know, we got to address certain issues in order to even think about seeing some kind of results. It's the third year. We hope to have another one next year. And, you know, we hope to have a bigger one. And I want to thank everybody who came out and showed love. Once again, my name is James Cool Breeze Gray. My partner, Akil Rose, and Bishop Mother Shirley Pitts are, you know, some of the organizing forces of these events.